like I keep saying, One Piece does not miss. It does not miss. Like honestly, this I wouldn't say this was that great of a chapter, but it's definitely a great. I don't know. It was definitely a great fight. A great fight. Like honestly, I read it and it was pretty good. But let's get into it though. Let's get into it. Starting off with the cover page. Chapter is called God and the Devil. So talking about Emu, a god and the devil. We got Carrot walking on I don't know what those are. Sleeping shark pandas. Oh yeah, I remember those from way back in the days. Did we see some shark pandas? Like, I don't remember exactly when, but I don't know. It was a while ago. It was a minute. It was a minute. But we start the chapter off with Loki remembering how he killed his dad and saying his dad, damn, I didn't even know Hera was that young. So giants are three times aged three times slower than humans or something like that, right? So 144 divided by 3, it's not like 60? Not even? Hold on, I'm gonna pull out the calculator for this. We're gonna get this right now. No, it was only like 48. God damn. So because no, Roger died like what, probably in the 60s, 50s. So yeah, but still, he was still kind of young for his age. Like, yeah, that's for a One Piece character. That's kind of a young age to die. That's usually what happens in the story. Like, they usually die to like tragic death or something, or like they make it to like Garp and Rayleigh and Crocus age. If they don't die to something tragic. But he's remembering how his father lived and say he died too soon. And then Emu has the audacity to say, oh, it was more of a loss to him. Like, who you think you are? Who you talking to, my guy? Like, hey man, this man Emu's talking crazy. He's talking hot stuff, man. I would not be standing for that if I was Loki either. That's wild. Talking about my dad's loss was a great loss to you. No, it wasn't. You ain't know him like that. Don't say all that. But Loki wastes no time. No time. Winds it back. Ooh, hey, he's the only one that has the right. Hey, y'all remember the last chapter? Howardin tried to do the same thing. He is the only one that has the right to pull this move off. Only one. Because he's bringing power down with that. He's not actually just doing it just for kicks and giggles. He's actually going to do some damage with that. You feel me? Harridan had no right, especially after Zoro got flung back last chapter. You had no right to try to bring down a big hammer attack. Come on now, or big axe, whatever he had. I think it was an axe. It wasn't a hammer. It was an axe. But you had no right to try to do that. Come on now, like honestly, you should have known your place and sat back. You see how Dorian Brogan didn't do nothing? Zoro just got beat. They know that nigga body. They know that man's body. And they watched him just get one shot, bro. Well, not really one shot. He kind of blocked it. He was cool. He was cool. I hope. But he's remembering all that and like remembering the pain of all that. He's bringing Ragnar down with it. He said that wasn't right. Said back then what you did for my to my father. Yeah, and then we get a new named attack from. I'm pretty sure this is Loki's attack. It's called Ragnar Izushi. Looks like, if I'm looking at this correctly, it looks like Ragnar cover itself in like a shell of ice, or from what it looks like. Unless I'm just tripping, it just might just be the lightning crackling around Ragnar, honestly. But it kind of looks like he kind of got like a thin layer of ice around it, like you know how Yamato blocked like Kaido's attack by having like an ice layer around her when like she like blocked the thunder. It was a thunder Bagua, right? Pretty sure it was a thunder Bagua. When she had like a thin layer of ice, like I think it might have been just anime only. Might have been. Don't quote me on that, but it might have been anime only. But she blocked Kaido's attack and like had the ice that was blocking like that blocked the attack like shatter afterwards, which honestly kind of makes sense because like I was thinking about that. They're like, so Loki is the one that channels the lightning power through his devil fruit and stuff, but like Ragnar is actually like a physical object besides like a he's actually a square on top of being a hammer, you know. So like I'm thinking he should be taking damage from this too, because it's like it's not like it's just some regular lightning, you know. But also he's probably also used to being like taking that kind of attacks on and stuff. So you know maybe not, but I'm taking the ice power from somebody who already had ice power in Yamato, who showed us that like you can have that thin layer of defensive ice on top of you. I wouldn't put it past it. I would not put it past it. I'm saying like that could definitely be what Ragnar is doing in this chapter, and we get a clash, and it's a Conqueror hockey clash because they're not touching. They're not touching. Two Conquerors hockey, and then they both get blown up. They both get blown apart and stuff. Nice clash, beautiful clash. It looks beautiful from Emu's whatever devil face attack that he did to Loki's hammer slamming down on it. It's a beautiful attack, honestly. I got excited when I first read it. Honestly, I got excited. I was like, "My man Loki over here putting it down. He's doing it. He's doing it. That man Loki is he's something, man. He's something. He's something." But then we see the after effect of all that damage. You see characters like Jinbei, Nami, and Vegapunk that kind of get like wind and afterward damage from the attack. And then Loki says that he can't believe that Emu think that, but hey, we know who we're facing. We're not facing no scrub. We're not facing anybody that we thought that Loki was gonna get that in one shot like that. No. If you wanted one shot, hey bro, you should have probably went your hybrid. Like that's what I was thinking. I thought he was gonna transform into his hybrid form at least, to kind of like match, because he said that like in his hybrid form he's too big and like little people like Emu, but Emu is not exactly little. Like the Holy Knight, he's a little bit taller. Like I think like yeah, he's probably about like Whitebeard size, So he's not really like tiny. He's like not comparable, but like he was definitely bigger than fucking Sanji and Zoro. Because when he put that foot to Sanji, that was a big foot. That was a big foot. You feel me? That was a big foot. But he said Emu is simply Mu's military might. Military might? A whole military? His attack is a whole military's might. That is crazy. That is crazy. Emu is just it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like it's amazing. And then Emu also shows the power to be able to I'm gonna mess up the word gigantify. Yeah, gigantify. God, I thought I was gonna mess that up for sure. But gigantify. And he grows bigger, just like Luffy, how he like can grow like to a giant form in his Gear Fifth. He has that same power to get up there with Loki. So he grows up a little bit and matches Loki in attacks. Which honestly, nothing not expected from this guy. And then somehow, some way, this man turned his blade. His blade did not look nothing like this at all. But somehow it turned into this. well, not exactly this, but like it grew like the handlebar, and then like obviously the black rest of it that he plunged into Loki is like his shadow power or his black flames or whatever else. But like, how did his sword turn into Mihawk's sword? Is he just like using the power of all the strongest people in the world? What is going on? Like what? Because his blade did not have no hilt. Like literally, it was just like Whitebeard's Naginata. Like it would literally look like that. It did not have no hilt. It did not. It just had the handle and the blade. From as far as I saw from like the past few chapters, correct me if I'm wrong, but like from what I saw from the last few chapters, like it did not have no hilt on it. But somehow it had a hilt on it all of a sudden, and this man hit the Mihawk's pose. I don't know if this was. I don't think it was an anime only. I think it was. I think it was in. It might have been in the chapter. Might have been an anime only scene too. But like, y'all remember that one scene when Mihawk was trying to attack Luffy in the war, and like he jumped on his blade, like not technically jumped on his blade, but he jumped up with his blade and like dove the blade down. This is exactly what he did to my man Loki. Literally, and he called the attack Nemesis. Hey, honestly, I think from this point on, we can kind of predict Emu's attack pattern names because honestly, just think of like most demonic stuff. Like Sanji's is demonic and food and like body parts and stuff because I speak French, so like I kind of understand. It's like body parts and food and like kind of related food body parts and like the body part that he's attacking usually, and then Emu seems to be just devil related attacks. Anything related to the devil is what Emu seemed to be naming his attack. You know, Omen can be a good or bad thing. So you know, because what? Pretty sure there was a was it I think it was Diablo. Diablo had like pretty sure there was a boss in Diablo like 4 or 3 that was like Nemesis, and he was like one of the underlings of Diablo or something like that. So we're kind of in that range. We, like just kind of like think devilish attack. But Moose start going on another tantrum and not tantrum and like kind of like rant about power. Strength is an attribute that people naturally crave, which is true. If you're not strong, you want to get stronger. That's why you go to the gym. That's why you get the body. That's why you build yourself up. He's right. He's absolutely right. I'm not even gonna cap on him. And then he said that craving can easily be satisfied via corruption and merely requires submit their will to a covenant. So saying this is pretty much how his power works. If you're willing to submit your will, Emu is able to grant you power. So if you let go of all your ambition, like if you let go of all your ambition and your will, because ambition and will is kind of like correlated in one piece, because will is how you get hockey. Hockey is kind of hockey and will are kind of like have the same. I'm pretty sure they like written in the same kanji. Like that's how hockey is written. Like the stronger will you have, the stronger hockey you have. So, which honestly does not make sense because that means a lot of the people, like I would say that a lot of the God Knights would not be as strong because they have weaker will. They're not like somebody like Zoro, who Zoro did kind of give up his own ambition to follow somebody else's will, but at the same time, he did not submit his will to somebody. His will is still his own, you know? So he still tried to do what he wants, but while following somebody else's will. But he still has all right of his will. That's why he has Conqueror's Haki. That's why he awakened that, and that's why he's getting as strong as he is because he has a strong will to do so. But like I feel like for the Holy Knights, that's it's not gonna work the same. Like I feel like a lot of characters who have Conqueror's Haki or even just regular Haki in the story would be able to defeat the Holy Knights, because they have stronger will. They did not submit their will for power. You know, they increase their will to get that power. But we'll get back into that into another video. But Emo also says when the envy drives them to achieve power, those three things come together to form a trinity. Interesting. Known as domination. So that's what I'm saying. Exactly like I'm saying. Emo is dominating these other people's will. They're not fighting off their own hockey, off their own strength. Their will is dominated by another person. That's why Emo can just come through and take control of them. You cannot tell me somebody whose will is dominated in the One Piece show is gonna be as strong as somebody who lives in the sea, free willing. Hey, all that Shamrock is just as strong as Shanks. Hey, bro, I'm gonna put an end to that right here, right now, right here, right now. Shamrock can never be as strong as Shanks because his will is dominated by Emu. He could never be. Same thing with his dad, bum ass dad. I hate that nigga. I hate that man. I hate him. I don't hate him. I just don't like him. I'm not the biggest fan of Garland after what he did to Rocks. I'm really not there. I'm not his biggest fan. And then he adds to grant Loki the power of a god. The power of a god. I think Loki's good on that. I'm pretty sure my bro's good on that. Pretty sure he's good. Giant dragon, the biggest dragon in history. I'm sure he's good on power. He does not need God's dominion or whatever Emu's power. He doesn't need it. It's cool. We're good off of that. Is that Emu also proceeds to say, is there a difference between a god and a devil? Which honestly could be said about a lot of things because honestly, Lucifer, there's a lot of writings about like God dying and stuff like that, and then Lucifer, who was considered the devil, rising up and becoming the next god. But then that was after he like found himself again and like became an angel and all that. So possibly, but while Emu is doing all that, he does start attacking Loki, which blasts him. Which honestly, if y'all remember the scene in Marineford when Whitebeard, he was getting shot at by cannon fires and stuff, and then getting plunged by a bunch of blades. This scene reminded me a lot of that scene. Like it reminded me a lot of that scene, like when Whitebeard was like he was about to fall, everybody's like, Pops! Everybody was about to come running to him. He's like, nah, I'm good. You know who I am? I'm Whitebeard. Y'all remember that scene? That was a hype scene. That was a hype scene, man. That was a hype scene. For real. But like that's what Loki does here. He like literally tanks Emu's attack and then winds it back with a big one again to him. Like he's giving it to Emu, honestly. Emu was giving it back, but he's giving it to Emu. And like for Loki being weakened at this moment because of like earlier attacks from Shamrock, I say Loki's doing pretty good right now. He's doing pretty good, and he's in his base form. Base form, no devil fruit involved yet. Like he's doing pretty good for that. But Loki says, "Bitch me," and Loki says he's not gonna let himself get dominated by anyone. And then Emu said, "The ones rejoice in a state of dominion." And then he thinks back. We see something that's like might be a flashback of Emu and Joy Boy, possibly, because there's like just a shadow figure, and then the other shadow looks like Joy Boy, and then the other shadow looks like the shadowy figure that we've seen from Emu, like so far. Hey, y'all see my theory video. I said they were homeboys. I said it. I said it. I said it. They were homeboys. They were friends. They were friends. They just fell off. They were homeboys. Emu probably just fell to the darkness power of his devil fruit, and then like something else happened. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. We're watching the story together. Let's continue. And then Emu screamed, "Isn't that right?" Joy Boy. Like I said, that was a shadow of Joy Boy and possibly Emu. Don't know. But at this point, we also see Luffy. He's still eating, and like we can't even understand. Like we see the the chat bubbles and stuff, and he's talking, but they have to translate it because he's talking with food in his mouth and stuff, and he's just saying this hockey's crazy. He's like, I'm gonna need more food to go be able to handle this. It's like, hey, and I got another theory about that I'm a. Hey, I ain't say no more. But proceeding on, Loki hits Emu with one more attack while he's lost in thought. And he's like, "You're underestimating me." Hits Emu all the way to the Atom Tree and then transform and proceed to throw off a Thorheim blast, which Emu actually tries to block with like that's like a little symbol that he did. I don't know, like what, like this, something like that. Something like that. He tried to block it, but then Emu at the end, we see a thought bubble, like a thought. He's like, Taos has really returned, and Emu smiles. Emu's liking it. He's liking the beatdown. He's enjoying the thrill of fighting a worthy opponent. Hey, I'm not saying Loki's gonna beat him, because Luffy got to still come over here and get his ones. And that's the end of the chapter and no break. So we might get another chapter next week, bro. I'm hyped. I'm hyped. I hope Luffy comes next chapter, because Luffy still gotta go get his ones. He still gotta go get his turns. They might team up, or like Luffy get his ones. Like whatever it is, whatever the matter is, I'm here for it. I want it. I'm ready for it. But I will catch you guys in the next video for some more One Piece peakness.